What's up, guys? Welcome back to Bible Fun with It. Today we're studying 2 Kings chapter 24. Yeah, let's jump right in. In this chapter, it's pretty much just like, so Babylon's taking over Judah, the southern tribe. Kingdom, yeah. And yeah. All right, so this chapter was super like full of like awesome stuff, but I had a few questions that I asked my dad about, and here are some of them. So I was wondering why, if Israel was God's chosen people, why are they like not doing so good, and why are all of the enemy armies prevailing? Because I know like Israel wasn't like worshiping God and stuff. They were worshiping false gods. But then why was the other enemies prevailing against them?
Okay, so it's a good question, and it's a question that, it seems logical. So why would God let people who did not worship him come in and defeat his own people? Well, part of that is your answer. His people were in a covenant with him. His people were responsible for loving him and honoring him and serving him, so much so that Deuteronomy tells us that they are to love the Lord their God with all of what?
Their heart.
Their heart.
Soul.
Their mind.
Soul.
Their soul. And their strength. That's right. So were they doing that? No. So when God was going to judge his people, he had to judge them because when God starts, he starts with justice. And he is not going to ignore others when the problems are with his own people and with his own house. So this was they would have been told all the way up front, ever since the Exodus, that if they did not keep the covenant, he was going to treat them the way he had treated others. Now, then when you have other countries, like you have the Assyrians who attack the north, you have the Babylonians who attack the south, then the question is, well, why doesn't God get angry at them? And then you find out he does. Because the Assyrians are taken over by the Babylonians. The Babylonians are taken over by the Medes and the Persians. The Medes and the Persians are taken over by the Greeks. The Greeks are taken over by the Romans. And the Romans crumble from within. So God is not just picking on his own people, but the lesson here is when God starts cleaning house, he starts at his own house first. So that's important.
Oh, okay.
What else you got?
So basically it's just like God, they weren't dying or failing because their like physical armies were weak, because their spiritual like mindset, I guess, and their spiritual activities weren't doing good.
That's right. Because what were they doing? What was their big problem? Idol worship. So idol worship throughout all of the Old Testament was the easy sin of the Israelites. No matter what happened, they always went back to idols. When they go into exile and they live in Babylon, so we're going to read that tomorrow. Tomorrow's kind of when it ends. We're going to find that we know some guys that went into exile. Who do we know that went into Babylonian exile?
Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. There's also another figure in there. It's Ezekiel. And Ezekiel was, we call him like the father of the synagogue, which means because the temple was destroyed, they set up almost what we would call little churches all over wherever anybody was in exile. And they would worship and they would study and they would think and they would pray, so that when they came back out of exile, and they came back to the land of Israel, and they lived there for several hundred years before Jesus comes along, they still had a lot of problems. But you know what one problem they did not have? Idol worship. So exile was terrible, but exile refined that sin out of them. Now, they had other things to deal with, but idolatry wasn't the same from this point anymore. Anything else?
Nah.
Any other takeaways?
Not really.
Worship the one true God.
Yeah, yep. Jesus is cool. No idols.
That's right.
Happy spring break.
Yep. See ya. Bye.